Hi, babies. Experiencing a shift of how we are receptive to divine love. And I'm seeing that there's a lot of diverse postures and mind frames that we have towards these overtures from God. May we all be receptive to divine love. And may it throw us into new paradigms. Because we have been all like as sheep that have gone astray, and we know the Lord is a good shepherd. He is a good shepherd. He leads us beside the quiet waters, and we do lay down in the green pastures. But this isn't our destination. This is a passage. This is journey, and there's never a wrong place. When you're on a path, you're never in a wrong place. You're progressing. You are transforming. You are learning. And you are growing. So there is a outlook of being led as a sheep and embracing Christ as the good shepherd. For his rod and his staff, they do comfort us. We've got the bruises to prove it. But what's opening up for me that I want to relay to you is that there is a difference between going astray and needing to be gathered and constantly needing to be picked up and cleaned up and disciplined and put back on the straight and narrow. I'm looking at it as much more a case of not going astray, but succumbing to our inhibitions and really just withholding, restraining ourselves from entering into life. And the pivotal point here is, are we looking at a shepherd where we're treated as sheep, wherein we justify the bruises, the beatings, the religious afflictions that through organized religion a lot of us have suffered? Or are we actually kind of just hold up within ourselves in our comforts and not really stepping out into larger territories, things that challenge our belief system, stepping out into the unknown and the uncertain? Sounds like you're losing your faith, Stephen. You got to be sure. You got an assurance of faith. Well, I know who I'm with. I've laid down in the green pastures. His rod and his staff have comforted me. I've got the bruises to prove it. I passed through assemblies and through fellowship and conversations with those that presume to be shepherds. And maybe it's not Jesus that's actually culpable for the bruises that I carry. But there is a shift in archetype here concerning our perception of Jesus as the good shepherd. And I think this is what we're all by and large moving into, is that it's incumbent upon us. It's inevitable. The vision is going to consume us, that he's the bridegroom. And That's what I mean. There's a different archetype. And it's like, are we all sheep that have gone astray? We're dumb sheep, or are we wallflowers that are holed up within ourselves, trying to hide in obscurity, looking at him and wanting to breach the distance and to step out and to move forward with him from strength to strength, from glory to glory, from everlasting to everlasting, from green pasture to green pasture. If there's an occasion that very true archetype of him as the good shepherd holds true, yeah, he leads us beside the quiet waters and we lay down in the green pastures. And there's never a wrong place. It's a progression. He's with us. But the archetype of bridegroom is unsettling because it calls us out of ourselves. Because it connotes there is a smittenness of love. I'm lovesick. And I make no apologies for it. And in the process and in the transmutation and in my inner conversation, it works its way out into fellowship and society. So sometimes it's like, you're a little loopy. I've been touched though. I know this divine love. And it calls me out of myself. And it calls me into that uncertainty. It calls me into that new strength, that new everlasting, that new green pasture. Because the yearning of our hearts is just to be with him. So we know Psalm 23, I quoted it several times here. We know Jesus in John chapter 10 talks about, I am the good shepherd. Lays my life down for the sheep, not as a hireling. I lay my life down for my sheep. And so the analogy of us as sheep and him as the archetype of the good shepherd is totally valid. But we're experiencing an expansion. We're shifting into a new paradigm. And I want to challenge you what lens you are seeing Christ through as you make your decisions and plod your way through this life. Chasing carrots, enduring bruises in the midst of assemblies, suffering disappointment and heartbreak. He'll lead you through all those things. And if you want to adhere and cleave to that archetype of him as the good shepherd leading from mess to mess to mess to mess, have at it. Personally, I'm seeing that I have been cloistered. I am seeing I'm a wallflower. Like the little pimply-faced teenage girl in the school dance, hiding in the shadows and watching some jock tromping along the dance floor, waiting for him to bridge that distance to come and to draw me out of the shadows. That's the essence of my shadow work. Coming out of the shadows because you're consumed by this vision of beauty and truth and goodness, which is typified and validated in Scripture. So this paradigm shift out of John chapter 10 and Psalm chapter 23 into the archetype of the bridegroom. And there are places, I didn't look them up before here, and I know that I can draw from the New Testament to present Jesus as the bridegroom. He said he's the bridegroom. Literally, it isn't the red letters. But this particular scripture bears out personally with me. This resonates in the marrow of my bones. This clarifies the yearning of my soul. This thrusts me from that place where I have been as a sheep that has gone astray, making justifications and excuses for the bruises that I have endured, into a place where I'm owning what's in me, my desires, my passions. The voice of my beloved, behold, he comes leaping upon the mountains. Catch that vision. There's something without you, something that you desire, something that's so beautiful that it takes your breath away. This comely one coming, leaping upon the mountains, skipping upon the hills. My beloved is like a gazelle or like a young stag. Behold, he stands behind our wall. He's looking through our windows, gazing through the lattice. This is the premise of Hannah Hurnard's epic fantasy book, Hinds Feet to High Places, of a little crippled girl that didn't even know how to walk straight, and she was constantly complaining that she wanted to go and to join her lover on the mountains. And so the process was healing her crippledness, and maybe in our beholdings, shifting from the Good Shepherd archetype to the bridegroom archetype, is that there is a persuasion of our worthiness in his eyes, a persuasion of how he actually sees us that's incumbent upon us to embrace, to step out of our limitations, and to start leaping on some hills. Because this is an invitation. It's not a rod or a staff that drives us or thrusts us against our will. It's not a wrestling match. It's a love story. And if you're smitten by it, may you be smitten by it. And if you're smitten by it, it's going to drive you. It's going to compel you from strength to strength, from glory to glory, from everlasting to everlasting, from grace to grace, from green pasture to green pasture, from hilltop to hilltop. The next new thing is going to arrive with grace when you yield to his embrace. Verse 10, my beloved spoke and said to me, rise up, my love, my fair one. There's a validation of your identity. That's a validation of these overtures of divine love that are coming to you now. My fair one, my beloved, my babies. Rise up, my love, my fair one, and come away. It's an invitation. He doesn't need a rod or a staff. When he's won our hearts, nothing else satisfies. It thrusts us out of ourselves. And we just join him on the hills, leaping and dancing all the way. Be consumed by this vision, babies. Be consumed by the vision, this archetype of the bridegroom, this lovely one, this beautiful young stag leaping across the hills. Let that consume you and transform you, suck you out of yourself. Come out of the shadows and become wholly consumed in divine love.